Welcome! It's about that time for another episode of the Stottie Pippen Show, presented by MeachiMedia. I'm your host, Stottie Pippen, and let's get right into this. So last night, we had the Denver Nuggets taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers had a chance to close this one out in a Game 5 last night, and it was looking like they were about to. They led by as much as 16 points last night, only to blow that lead late in the game. The dynamic duo of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic went for 48 points last night. Murray had 26, Jokic 22. Paul Millsap provided 17 points, scoring 14 of those 17 in the third quarter, which was huge for the Nuggets' comeback. You know, they started making that comeback in the third and the fourth quarter. They really took over, outscoring the Clippers 38-25 in the fourth quarter. And they were able to beat the Clippers 111-105 to force a Game 6. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were on fire last night. Kawhi could not miss. He scored 36 points. Paul George added 26 points. But the 62 combined points between the two superstars on the Clippers was not enough to get the job done. They had literally no help from their role players last night, which is strange because usually this is one of the deeper teams in the NBA, and they have two guys coming off the bench that average almost 20 points per game. In Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell, on the season they average a combined 36 points per game. They went for 10 points combined last night. Lou Williams was 2 for 10, 0 from 5 from 3. Marcus Morris, he provided 12 points, and Pat Beverly got 10. But outside of those two, nobody else was helping Kawhi and Paul George. It was pretty much the Kawhi show all night long. He was hitting some big shots, 5 for 12 from 3, knocking down a lot of three-pointers, getting to the hoop a lot, making plays, doing what he does, but he can't do it all himself, and he's going to need a lot more help if the Clippers want to close this out in Game 6 tomorrow. That game will be at 1 p.m., They'll be going head-to-head with a lot of these football games going on tomorrow, which I'm very excited for. We actually are going to get a little football take on the New England Patriots later in the show from a big-time Patriots fan, so stay tuned for that one. But as for this Nuggets and Clipper game, Michael Porter Jr. was very critical of not getting the ball late in the second half in that last game. He had 0 points in the second half last game. Now, last night he only had 7 points, but when his number was called late down the stretch, he delivered, knocking down a huge three-pointer, and he also recorded a huge block on the defensive end, which is nice for him because he's not known for his defense. He's a young guy in the league, so he's got a lot of room for improvement, but very, very clutch plays by him late down the stretch. And they were two huge plays that helped the Nuggets steal this game. I mean, 111-105. I didn't expect the Nuggets to win. They were getting 8 points last night, so they covered the 8. They won outright for anyone that took Nuggets money line. The total was 216, and it landed right on the dot. These guys will play again tomorrow, like I said, 1 o'clock. Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell are going to have to get more involved in that game if the Clippers want to close it out. Otherwise, I see this game going 7 because Denver's got that fight in them. You know, we've seen them go down 3-1 before and make it a series, and it looks like they're on the way to do that again. Jamal Murray, he was finally stroking it last night, 26 points. He's struggled to get over 20 in this series. He's only done it one other time, and they won that game as well. He had 27 in Game 2 when the Nuggets won, 26 last night and the Nuggets won. So it looks like the key to victory for the Nuggets is get Jamal Murray over 20 points. Nikola Jokic is always going to do what he does. He's a very consistent player. He had 22 last night, 15 rebounds. So if the Nuggets want to force a Game 7, keep getting Murray involved. Let him keep shooting the ball. He was 5 for 7 from 3. And we might have a series on our hands. Otherwise, if the Clippers want to close it out, they're going to need their role players to step up this next game. Montrezl and Lou Williams both average 18 points per game on the season. They're going to have to deliver in the Game 6 tomorrow. And the other game yesterday was a Game 7, and what a game that was. 92-87 final, and Jason Tatum had his fingerprints all over this one. 29 points for the young superstar, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. He's the youngest player since Kobe to have a stat line like that in a Game 7 performance. Marcus Smart was huge late in the game. He had a huge block on Norman Powell. And Norman Powell is one heck of a player. This guy, he only had 11 points last night, but he's been just making some big shots all series long, and he's been a pain to the Boston Celtics, coming off the bench for Toronto, providing nice bench support. Who was not supporting the Boston Celtics? None other than their all-star, Spicy P, or I might call him Mild P, after the way he's been playing this series against the Celtics. He's only scored over 20 points one game this series, which is quite odd because this is a guy that averages about 23 points per game on the season, and he's just been awful this whole series. Hopefully this offseason he trains and works hard and comes back better than before, because this is a guy that I really like. I like Siakam as a player, and it sucked to see him let his team down. Fred VanVleet led the Toronto Raptors with 20 points. Kyle Lowry 16. He had 33 in that last game. So an off night for Lowry. The Raptors had a chance to win it late, but then, like I said, Marcus Smart made a huge block. The Raptors were actually fighting back into this game, and that block that Marcus Smart made, it kind of jump-started the Celtics and gave them the energy needed to close this one out. The Celtics' big three, they performed great last night. They combined for a total of 66 points. Marcus Smart was huge on defense. No wonder he got first-team all-defensive honors. Jaylen Brown had 21 to complement Jason Tatum's 29. And this is going to be a very great series between the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. I cannot wait for the Jimmy Butler-Jason Tatum matchup. It's going to be one for the ages. And I have Boston winning the series. Vegas is calling it pretty darn even. Boston is minus 130, and the Heat are plus 110 to win the series. The first game will be on Tuesday on ESPN. Not sure what time it's going to start yet, but the game will be on Tuesday. Boston is a 1.5 point favorite in that one. And I'm rolling with Boston. I think Boston's going to win that game one and set the tone. Miami has had a lot of rest, and they've been waiting, watching this series between the Raptors and the Celtics unfold. So you got to think Miami's going to be ready. And it's kind of even though the Celtics are a favorite, it's kind of a bold prediction to side with the Celtics in this one, because, like I said, Miami's going to be ready. But I'm not afraid of rolling with the Celtics. I think Celtics take game one. Miami will probably come out and take game two. Ultimately, this could be a 7-game series like we just saw between the Raptors and the Celtics. But it's going to be a great one. I cannot wait for the Eastern Conference Finals. As for the Western Conference Finals, we're waiting on the results of the Lakers and the Rockets. The Lakers lead this series 3-1. They will be looking to complete the gentleman's sweep tonight. They play the Houston Rockets. The Lakers are a 6.5 point favorite. I think they cover it. I think they get the job done. The Rockets look depleted. They look beat. They're done. James Harden in that last game, he only went for 21 points. If the Rockets want to win, Harden's going to have to score over 35 points tonight. Russell Westbrook had a good game last game, 25. Eric Gordon had 19. But Harden had that uncharacteristic game, 21 points. He was 2 for 11 from the field. He did get to the free throw line 20 times, and he made 16 of those 20 free throws. So 16 of his 21 points were at the line, which means he only had 5 points outside of his free throws. Like I said, he's going to need to drop 35 plus tonight if the Rockets want to keep their playoff hopes alive. As for the Lakers, I think LeBron James will finally get that triple-double he's been flirting with all series long. And if you're looking to place a bet on that, it's plus 330 odds. So $100 would pay out $330. You'll get back $430 betting on LeBron James to get a triple-double. I think he closes out the Rockets tonight with a big triple-double. Anthony Davis had 29 last game. Look for him to get in that 30-point range again. And the Lakers role players have been stepping it up. I expect them to continue balling out in this game tonight. And the Lakers will cover that 6.5 and close it out. Gentleman's sweep. You'll be hearing about that tomorrow if they do complete the gentleman's sweep. But like I said, I just don't see the Rockets winning tonight. They look beat. There was that story earlier this week about House sneaking in a girl to his hotel room. He's not even got his mind on basketball. And I don't even think the Rockets have their mind on basketball. These guys are donezo. We got NFL tomorrow. A lot of games on the slate. And the two biggest games, in my opinion, will be the Tampa Bay Bucks taking on the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. Tom Brady making his debut for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And also, new faces in new places. Cam Newton will be making his debut for the New England Patriots. And we actually have a guest on the show today from Sarasota, Florida. He is a die-hard New England Patriots fan, one of the biggest New England Patriots fans I know. So when I had to get some questions about the Patriots and Cam Newton, he was the guy I turned to. So let's get him on the phone real quick. Let's see if he is there. Let's dial him up. All right, here we go. So, Gino. We got Gino Graham on the line. How are you doing today, Gino? It's a pleasure to have you on the show. You are our very first guest on the Stottie Pippen show, so history is being made today.
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Thanks for having me on the show. I'm definitely excited to be the first distinguished guest to grace it.
So New England's got a new quarterback under center this season, Gino. Cam Newton. He is a former MVP. He has been to a Super Bowl. Didn't win it, though. He doesn't have that Super Bowl success like Tom Brady, so it's going to be a little different. The Patriots play the Dolphins tomorrow in Gillette. They're about a touchdown favorite. The total's sitting at 42. What are your thoughts on that game tomorrow, Gino?
I definitely like the Pats to win. I think the under is going to hit that 42. But, the Pats are going to win pretty convincingly. I think the Pats definitely have something to prove, without Tom Brady. They're trying to prove that they're still a solid team, and they're still going to go out and show out. I think Cam Newton's going to be on a mission this year for sure. It's pretty cool. He's the first black quarterback other than Jacoby Brissett to actually start for New England ever. So I think, in these time and days, I think that means something too. Black Lives Matter and whatnot. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think we win by at least 6.5. So I think they cover that too. So we'll win by at least a touchdown, I think. Cam Newton's going to ball out. We're going to get that defense rocking, and I think it's going to surprise a couple people that the Pats are still here, baby. Let's get it.
Well, Gino, it was a pleasure having you on the show. We appreciate your nice take on the Patriots and Cam Newton tomorrow. And we look forward to bringing you back maybe later in the season after we see what's going on with the Patriots.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thanks for having me on the show, Stottie. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure. I'm looking forward to this week 1. And good luck to everybody in their fantasy teams. May everybody stay healthy and everybody ball out.
All right, Gino. Thank you. So you heard it there. Gino thinks the Patriots will cover the 6.5. That line's actually moving. I think it's at 7.5 now. The total is sitting at 42. Gino likes the under, and he likes the Pats to win by at least a touchdown. So it's going to be interesting to see what Cam Newton can do tomorrow. And later at 4 o'clock, we're going to get to see what Tom Brady does with the Bucks. My take on that is I think the Bucks go into the Superdome and win that game. They're actually underdogs, so they're plus money on the money line. And I'm actually going to be laying down some cash on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tomorrow to beat the New Orleans Saints. I cannot wait for that game. And I'll be watching that Patriots-Dolphins game at 1 o'clock beforehand to see how the Patriots fare without their legend quarterback, Tom Brady. So, football's back tomorrow. I will be back again tomorrow to give you the results of that Lakers and Rockets game, whether they pull off the gentleman's sweep or not. And I'm also going to be back to give you my Miachi 5 locks of the day in the NFL. Maybe we bring on another special guest tomorrow. Not sure who yet, but I'm looking to see if someone wants to come on the show. And we're going to give you some hot takes for the NFL tomorrow. Big show. Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. This has been the Stottie Pippen Show presented by MeachiMedia. And take it easy, guys.